Jesus freak here. I know the kind of thing I'm going to expect to hear to people who are pushing the idea of toxic positivity. It's probably going to sound a lot like, beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden. If everything's going good for you, you might be on the wrong road. There has been for decades this cult of toxic positivity being pushed in churches. When I was seeing, leaflets and tracts from Norman Vincent Peale, the power of positive thinking, plus in the back of our church when I was a kid. Maybe positive thinking to stop you from getting sick as often. Maybe it'll help you get out of a sickness. But the idea, I can't think anything negative because it's going to ruin my salvation, or I'll bring ruin upon myself. Look, when did Jesus ever tell anyone that we weren't going to have a bumpy road? It's a message throughout the Gospels. We ain't going to have necessarily a fun time just because we're believers of the truth. Oh, yeah. That little thing about the truth could be pretty inconvenient, too. When you have people who claim to be men of God, people standing behind a pulpit, and saying Jesus ain't the only way to heaven. Well, what you talking about, Willis? See, we have your word, and we have this. And they're in contradiction. So what's the truth? Well, in any case of contradiction, and where one answer is the Bible and one answer is anything else possible in the known universe or beyond, the answer is always going to be right here. Without exception. If anyone's telling you there's any way to heaven other than God, other than Jesus, they're a lying liar from the land of lying liars and the father of lying liars. There is no other way. There is no other truth. And there's no other life. So I saw comments on this one YouTube video where I believe it was Pastor John MacArthur calling out Joel Osteen. And I said, someone was saying, oh, good job judging him. And I said, he ain't judging him. As he's standing condemned by his own words. As the Bible says. We don't have to judge these people. They judge themselves. Paul said this. He said, a man that is an heretic, after the first and second admonition reject, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself. His own words and his own actions are his condemnation. And you might say, oh, but that's just Paul saying it. Well, Paul isn't alone in saying this. John said the same thing. For example, when he says, as this is a condemnation, that light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light. He says, the condemnation is the very action. We don't need to judge them. We don't need to condemn them. They do enough of that on their own. Apparently he was talking about, word of faith and, creating your own existence. I said, that you call yourself a Christian and you're saying that? That's not Christianity. That's Scientology. That's right straight to L. Ron Hubbard. There's a saying, the devil can't create, he can only corrupt. A lot of us have been corrupted. Greed is a very easy way Greed is the easiest means by which the devil can exploit humanity. If I start hearing Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard from the pulpit, well, there was one correct thing L. Ron Hubbard said. Many are called, but few are chosen. Because he plagiarized it out of the Bible. If I start hearing New Age mumbo jumbo out of the pulpit, you better be sure you won't be seeing me back next week. And that's as it should be. I want to hear the Bible out of the pulpit. That's what I'm there for. You should all be there for. If I start hearing cult stuff, if I start hearing Scientology, if I start hearing toxic positivity, if I start hearing word of faith, if I start hearing The Secret, I'm outie. Jesus freak out.